Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter. This is going to be a long video, so make a cup of coffee, maybe even a pot, and I will put timestamps into the description down below so you can go to the data that you want. But in case you guys weren't following me on Twitter, Famitsu did a questionnaire poll online from Western gamers about what we think about Japanese games. Even specific questions about Monster Hunter World, Nier Automata, Persona, and some other stuff as well, like Zelda. They did publish the results in Famitsu today. Unfortunately, it's not online, so those of you who actually went online and did the questionnaire won't actually be able to see the results. And if any of your quotes were chosen, or just interesting data. So I want to make this video where we read through all of it and we can see, because it is pretty interesting. Now I do want you to excuse my incredibly large cursor. I'm doing all this through screen capture because Famitsu is sold digitally on a Bookwalker. So I do highly recommend, if you like Famitsu and you like the images, that you go ahead and you make a Bookwalker account and you purchase Famitsu's Direct. It's a very good way to do it. Make sure the money goes in the right place. But I am doing screen capture, so I'm using this mouse so you can see where I'm actually pointing. But a lot of these, the text is going to be a little small, so you might want to go full screen if you actually are going to read what I'm going to read. But I'm going to say it all out loud, so don't worry too much. So basically, they did a poll because they wanted to see. The poll was done from March 9th through March 17th, and they were asking people from the West that were in Japanese what they thought about Japanese games in general. They had 6,678 response. 5,606 are male, 887 female, 122 other, and 63 didn't answer. They do show the age breakdown. They did have a lot of people in their 20s, 4,429, and a good chunk in their 30s, a little bit in their teens, and then just a little bit over 40 and 50. So pretty good split. Down here we can see the split between Europeans and North America. Then we got Asia, then we got South Africa, Oceania, and then Africa. So lots of different places. So let's just jump right in and let's just read all of these because some of them are really cool. For those of you who did actually participate, thank you so much. I thought this was a great thing that they did. And I was encouraging people on Twitter to go ahead and fill it out because the more voice we have in Japan, the better, because Japanese developers obviously do read Famitsu, and this could be a very good influential thing for them. Okay, going right into the detail we have up here, it says, you know, what foreign gamers expect from Japanese games. Like, what do we place our importance on more than anything? The first one up here is gameplay, so obviously it's very high. Story, art, music, and then other. So obviously all these ranking really high, but the top ones being gameplay and story and art. And I mean, they're all really high. So yeah, I'm not sure what data you can read from that. They're all just really high. And then they have a bunch of comments here. It says, Japanese games are more original and innovative. Innovative. I was trying to say it like a European. I can't. Innovative. The American in me shines. Japanese voiceover, yes. Yuri. If it has Yuri, I'll buy it. I can only imagine that they're talking about Yuri, the community manager for Monster Hunter in the United States. So I agree. If it's got Yuri, I'll buy it. Sexy girls, beautiful girls, cute girls, revealing clothes, handsome men. Well, why only handsome if you're going to have sexy, beautiful, and cute? Can't we get some cute and sexy men? Let's see. Japanese voice actors are the best in the world. Once you pick up some of the Japanese language or just listen to it enough, the voices really affect me more than local dubbings. Good job, voice actors. Yes, I do say that they are very good here in Japan. It's a very rich industry, obviously. Replay value. I want as much value for my money when I buy a game. Well, you should be buying Monster Hunter. I love Japanese and manga culture. I think Japanese artists have special ideas with great values, in particular Kojima, Suda51, Swery, and Mikami. Swery actually has a Kickstarter right now for the game he's been trying desperately to make, A Good Life. So if you're interested in supporting him, go check out his Kickstarter. Voice cast, Seiyu. That's very true. The anime style, duh. Having cute girls in your games really makes a difference. It's a 30-year-old European male, Taz. Nice one. Japanese developers enjoy much more creative freedom than we have in the West. As a result, your games are consistently enjoyable and inspiring in a way that Western games are not. Please do not change what you do. Western gamers love your amazing games the way you make them. Very nice comment there. This is actually in Japanese. It actually says, hey, do you have gigantic breasts? You can just tell there's a lot of people who really like the girls, I think, in the games. English subtitles menu options are always a plus, especially when we have to import games often that don't make a release here in America. I'm not sure if that's a compliment or a request, but either way, I think it's a good request. So uh, hopefully they understand that. The subtitles in English or French. It's another one where they're writing it as a compliment, but I think this is almost like a request, I'm gonna guess, but who knows? Fan service, of course. I love games that make me feel good. So do I. Then for the person who is in charge of doing all the questionnaires, he has a comment below on every sheet. For this one, he says that a lot of the responses were in English, but there's some in Spanish, some in like some broken Japanese that obviously the person was really trying their hardest to use. And they said there's just so many people left really long comments, and he really wishes they could have showed them all. But he said, you know, he really felt a lot of love towards Japanese games from the West. Everything. I think that person actually did put the spaces in there. Language. Need traditional Chinese, please. See, people need subtitle options. I'm telling you. Moe. I love Moe. Japanese games usually feel Japanese. Well, duh. They have more unique ideas that are explored in Western games. Aren't explored in Western games. I suppose so, but don't write off Western games. It's a lot of developers in the world doing some really unique stuff, especially the indie scene. Over 100 hours of game. Okay, this is true. Japanese RPGs, at least in the past, have been really big. They're starting to get a little bit lower, though, which for someone like me is good. Director. Unlike a lot of Western games, Japanese games are strongly influenced by the vision of their directors. This adds a unique feel to the game depending on who directed it. People such as Yoko Taro, Hideo Kojima, Shigeru Miyamoto, and so on. These are visionaries that will drive a video game into its own unique media. These are people who dare to venture into the unknown like a real man. No, not to mention that Japanese don't care about petty things like political correctness in their games, and Japanese games don't care about feminazi. I do mention that the Famitsu doesn't translate any of those last comments because they're pretty taboo. They just sort of, I think, interpreted it as saying, okay, Japanese games, when they run into a sensitive theme, they don't let that stop whatever their vision was. And in that case, I would agree, although it can get a little to the point where it's kind of reckless. Cute girls? Come on, guys, give some more thoughtful answers. Then we're saying, okay, what type of games do you like that are Japanese? So this is the top 20. The level design is amazing. The way everything loops back together is really cool. The characters are also very well realized. I would agree. Monster Hunter series. I love the Monster Hunter series. Very fun multiplayer. I love the monster designs, and all the armor and weapons are cool. Nargacuga is my favorite monster. Nice, Faith. It's a teen, Faith, from North America. Nice comment. Bloodborne. Oh, I love that game. It always harnesses my gamer reflexes just as when I was young. Yes, it definitely is a flashback to the hardcore games of old, isn't it? Yakuza 0 is thus far the pinnacle of the Yakuza formula in my opinion. Amazing gameplay, side missions, characters, story, music, and going back and forth between Majima and Kiryu is a dream come true for many long-term Yakuza fans like me. Persona 4. The game carried a unique normal life aesthetic and introduced a wide variety of relatable characters. It was a game about living one's life to the fullest, which was a message I needed in high school. Very nice. Final Fantasy VII. It was my first Japanese RPG, and I fell in love with the characters, story, and setting. I also met my husband through a Final Fantasy VII fan site. That's awesome. So the top 5 here. Number 1 is Persona 5. Boom! Persona fans, man, they are passionate. Second one, Nier Automata. And then going down quite a huge jump here because, I mean, Persona 5 and Nier got chosen a lot. We got Dark Souls series, Monster Hunter World, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Monster Hunter series. Yeah, double Monster in the top 10, baby. Bloodborne, the Yakuza, Persona 4, Final Fantasy 7, Chrono Trigger, Metal Gear Solid 2, Persona 3. Lots of Persona, wow. Metal Gear Solid 3, Super Mario Odyssey, Metal Gear series, Final Fantasy series, Nioh, ooh, Okami, hello. Kind of wish that was a little higher in the list, but such a good game. And Pokemon series. What's really funny is the guy down here says that they only listed the top 20, but they actually had over 900 games listed. It just shows how many games Japan has made that people love. Okay, let's move on to the page we really care about, which is Monster Hunter World. Woohoo! If you guys didn't know, Monster Hunter World has actually shipped 7.5 million copies around the world, making it the most successful game I think Capcom's ever had, and by far, obviously, the most successful Monster Hunter game. So they did a lot right. For this one, they said that the people who responded to the survey were really in their 20s, a lot of people here, people in their 30s, and all that. Actually, it said one person who is under 9 years old. Maybe. North America, European, same split as we saw as the general one. Some information about what is Monster Hunter World, but we know that. Okay, evaluating people's favorite features of the game. So number one chosen was gameplay. Next was story, then art, music, and then other. So yeah, gameplay is king. And here are all the comments. Let me know down in the comments below if you were chosen to have any of your comments. I'm a little sad I wasn't, but I do have a comment later that they chose of mine. First one up is Joey. It's fun to work as a group to accomplish the missions. The world looked vibrant and alive. Yes, it does. Seems that the gameplay changed vastly. As my friend told me going back to previous games to replay them, he feels like a newbie. There's a lot of quality of life changes. The gameplay is very fun and satisfying. It makes me want to learn and hunt all the monsters and get better gear. It also looks so cool and stylish. It's fun to explore all the areas thoroughly and see what I can find. It's very challenging to learn all the weapon types, but very rewarding to use them properly. Michael, great comment. Gameplay is endless fun and I can easily play for 8 hours straight and I don't even feel like 8 hours went by. The farming just keeps on going and every hunt is always a challenge. The design of the monsters and the armor make the world feel alive, alongside the graphics that put so much detail into what can be seen, making everything feel so beautiful and full of life. I totally agree. The gameplay of Monster Hunter has always been extremely fun, and this game just makes you feel like you are in a real monster world. Say that after you watch the Hollywood movie. I'm joking. The monster design is the best creature design I've ever seen. And multiplayer is a big reason that I play this game. Okay, here we go. A whole bunch more comments. I like the sense of accomplishment from killing a monster. Yes, but hey, capturing them is still pretty good. The sheer amount of content. There's a lot of things to do and all of them are fun. I love the way I progress in the game, monster by monster and new equipment by new equipment. Also, the monsters are all cool and unique and the gameplay feels refined and fair. That I would agree. They really did a great job of taking stuff like all the delivery quests and just everything that felt really tedious and everything's just really fun. I would agree. The thrill and satisfaction of taking down a monster that you've been struggling with. The slinger is incredibly fun to use and has better range than all the actual ranged weapons. That's a wonderful sense of satisfaction from learning each monster's attack patterns and getting the timing right for each action I make. Each monster's design is truly unique and I'm thoroughly impressed how cute and threatening they are. Paolumu. Cute, but not so threatening. One of the most interesting changes from the previous Monster Hunter titles is how much interaction there is with the environments now. I especially love catching small animals and putting them in my home. I would butcher that, guys, which is why I didn't say the word. Burgosi home? I don't know. Sorry. The gameplay loops of killing a monster and using parts from said monster to go kill a bigger monster and then using that monster's part to kill a bigger monster. Well put. Also hunting with friends. The thing I like most about Monster Hunter World is the way that the maps in the world in general have been made for the new platforms. It makes the world feel more real and alive, and the way the monsters act makes it all seem like real life. Fighting giant monsters with friends. The feeling of teaming up with others to tackle big monsters as well as more relaxing elements of building weapons and armor. Also, the environments are spectacular and keep me interested. Then over here on the left, they asked people what their favorite weapon is. Number one was Greatsword. Second was Longsword. Then third was Dual Blades. Fourth was Insect Glaive. And fourth was Charge Blade. Very, very cool. Then we have some fun comments down here. A girl in Karen armor swinging the Greatsword is very cute. Big damage and looks cool. For the these are for Greatsword. For the Longsword, like a samurai. Feel the most fluid to me, a nice combination of speed and power. For Dual Blades, they said it hits fast and its combos are cool looking. I'm a simple man. Then they make me feel like a ninja. For Insect Glaive, I've always been a gunner and hunting horn player. Oh yeah! So I feel like switching it up this generation. The acrobatics are so satisfying. And finally, Charge Blade. I like technical weapons that also switch between two weapons. It is true, and Switch Axe is also amazing, so if you guys haven't tried that one out, you really should. Down here below, they just said there was a lot of people who played the game for the first time, left comments saying that I really like the loop of beating a monster, getting materials, making a weapon, then taking out another, stronger monster. They said that from veterans, they got lots of comments about the slinger and all the quality of life changes. Then we got everything. My first Monster Hunter was Monster Hunter Tri, and World felt like a very similar feeling to it. I agree, because they rebuilt it from the ground up. It brought back the personal rooms, and it also made lots of positive changes to the game. Not everything is perfect, but the team at Capcom has communicated with fans very well, and very focused on making a good game. I'm very happy that my friends now play the game with me too. So am I, Django. It's challenging, fun, but challenging in a good way. It's fun hunting monsters with friends, helping each other with quests and resources. The food looks really good too. I end up getting hungry every time my character eats. Oh, I know the feeling. The gameplay loop is super addictive. I also love the feel of the combat. Each weapon's type's moveset is unique. I've got more than 310 hours in the game, and I'm still playing every day. Everything is perfect. So this is really interesting. So over here, they're asking what people's favorite monsters are, and they said that, they did a very similar poll here in Japan. In their March 29th issue, Japanese users had Odogaron as number 8, but they noticed that a lot of people overseas chose it, and it actually made number 2 because more than the abilities, which it's a really good set, and all that kind of stuff, they chose it. He said that lots of comments about how cute the female gear was. People love that thigh, I guess. So first one was Nerigigante. Yes, I'm going to say the Japanese names. Number 2 was Odogaron, then Basilgius, then Diodeus, and Legiana. That's Nergigante, Odogaron, Basil, Rathalos, and Legiana. For the reasons why people like the monsters, for Nergigante, it was the character design really stands out, and its attack move is very distinctive compared to other monsters. His fight is one of the most fun for me, well balanced and challenging. His weapons are also some of the best. For Odogaron, it says fighting Odogaron with the dual blades equipped is like a dance, which I agree. It's really fun. Even with Lance, it's really fun. Second comment here was fast-paced fights. Odogaron armor is the best-looking armor in the game. And for Basil, we have probably gives me the most surprises, like he ambushes you when you're hunting another monster. Also, I love how Basil attacks with his dives and bombs. Okay, for Rathalos, it says I have always loved Rathalos. I always make the armor and the weapons. It just looks cool, and it always has a lot of the attack skill, which is best for me. Then Legiana, it says amazing, elegant design, and the coolest sounding roar of all the monsters, which I agree. It's got sort of like a tone of like Amatsu, definitely inside of there. Then down here, they actually had an interview with the producer, Ryozo Tsujimoto, who was mentioning that, they put a lot of power into overseas promotions and, the global release of the game, which he feels he's really happy it worked out according to plan. So he says, for Monster Hunter World, they did a focus test overseas. They said they've never done that before, and they were able to take a lot of those comments and actually reflect them in the game and see that users during the next play sessions really enjoyed it. They're happy they could finally answer overseas players who really wanted to play Monster Hunter on a big screen. They got to see lots of comments on social media saying how fun it was. So he's just really happy people will enjoy the game. Releasing it globally at the same day was also a really big deal. And they put a lot of care into making it playable for someone who's new to the series. He says, before release date, there was lots of ways to communicate the information of the game. He says you had the media, you had streamers. See, he's calling you guys out. And community members would take the information and spread it through their own countries in their own language. And just being able to do equal marketing and power push overseas as well as Japan really was a key to their success. He's just very happy that people, managed to get to that addictive element of Monster Hunter. Usually people will leave and quit the game before they, find that nugget. I was the same. I almost quit the game until I found it. It took a long time, in the past games to really feel the loop and get into it. I'd say probably a good 8 to 10 hours, where now it's almost immediate. So yeah, just lots of care went into design and everything else. So he's very happy and he feels he did good in the game. Yeah, he also says, like, when they're doing shows or anything like that, there's always lots of comments from overseas players. He says, I really got to learn a foreign language. It's okay, Diozo, you can do it. You're never too old to learn a language. Okay, now moving on to Breath of the Wild. I'm going to start speeding things up. I know you guys really wanted to hear all the comments because it was Monster Hunter. So for these, I'll just pick out some of the ones that seem really interesting and just give you the highlights, and you can read the rest because I am going to export this in glorious 4K resolution. So hopefully the quality of the recordings will be good enough that you can read them. So for Breath of the Wild, they had 3,739 respondents, mostly in their 20s. Nice even split from the West, from North America and Europe, and then some other countries as well. Okay, now taking a look at which of the individual game elements people called out as things that they really enjoyed and that they valued. Top one here being gameplay. Obviously takes the king here. Second one being story. This is actually expected that it's low because while it has a serviceable story, it's more about the setting and the world than it is the actual story and the narrative. Art also very high, then music pretty high as well, and then other. Lots of comments. I love solving puzzles in Zelda. Everything felt fresh to me. Being able to climb anything is just amazing, and I really feel the environment is the star of that game. I agree though, like I've never been into 3D Zeldas that much, but this game is one of my favorite games of all time. And now if I get in a game and I can't jump down a cliff or run down or do something really fast, I feel very limited. Let's go over to the next page here. Look at all these comments. How calm the open world is. Mipha's story and Link's motorcycle. I also love the fairies. Haha. The fairies were actually quite interesting. Everything. So down here it says, which of the Seeker Stone abilities do you think are the most important? Number one, Bitaroku. What would that be? The stasis. Number two being the remote bomb. Not remote bomb, just bomb. Next one being the magnet, and then the ice maker. Then we go over here and they ask people what their favorite of the 4 warriors were. Number 1 by far was Mipha. She won out number 1. Then Uruboza, I don't know her English name. She got number 2. Rivali, he got number 3. And then Rock Dude got number 4. I'm sorry guys, it's been a while since I played and I don't remember all the games in English, but I'm sure just by the pictures you know who these people are. Now going over to Nier Automata. Lots of respondents for this, 3,856, about the same split as well. So this reminds me of Monster Hunter. Every single element of this game people really liked. Gameplay, story, art, and music. The twists on the above aspects were so clever and unique. Lots of long comments here. The only thing missing from most of Yoko Taro's games was polished gameplay, and Platinum Games delivers wonderfully in that area. I also love the work of Akihiko Yoshida, so getting to see his designs in Yoko Taro work was a welcome surprise. Keiichi Okabe's musical work continues to be some of my favorite in the industry, as well as Emmy Evans' vocals. I totally agree. Let's move on. This is the one that stands out right here. 2B's big butt. They even put a picture of her tush over here. People. But yeah, she is an attractive character. To me, though, it's more about how she carries herself. Her animations are incredibly visually appealing for me. For here, it's asking who your favorite main character was, to be winning out by a long shot, followed by 9S and A2. So you see, the boys can get the ranking. Get up on the ranking. For those who answered for 9S, it says, I like his design and character a lot. Hacking was a lot of fun too. I love how he degraded from a nice boy into a mad one after losing 2B. Spoilers! Okay. Oh, this is interesting. For 2B, it says, her development, her personality. I got her tattooed on my leg. Haha. Good job. Emil. You guys can read all these. These are all really fun comments. What are your favorite endings? So here's the question here. So the first one is the end of Yora, by far. Second being Flowers for Machines, then Childhood's End, Meaningless Code, and Ajiokuta. I unfortunately did not play through all the endings, so I don't know all these. But that's pretty crazy when people are saying they've played through pretty much all of them and have favorites. So then again, someone explained to me that they shouldn't have called it an ending, that it's really just an interterm checkpoint in the game's story, and that when you finish and you get ending 1, you're really just hitting a checkpoint in the story, and that you shouldn't consider it the end of the game at all. So I might actually, if I can find some time, to go back and play this game again with that in mind, because I thought that was pretty interesting. Tubi's final message to 9S had me in tears. I don't know, how about you guys? Did it have you in tears? Whatever the message was? Let me know down in the comments below. Okay, and going over Nioh. Yeah, I love Nioh. It's my favorite action, like hack and slash, strategic action game I've ever played. It's so good. So people really enjoyed the gameplay, loved the art. Obviously, it's very Japanese. Story actually was pretty higher up, and then music, music was serviceable, but it wasn't exactly, the best soundtrack you've ever heard. Although there are a few tracks that really stand out. So a bunch of quotes over here. We don't have this kind of design in America. Isn't that the truth? I think this is the same with like Okami and Persona, where a unique visual design that you can't achieve anywhere else. Japan doing Japan is best, and really playing on the strengths is always fun. Oh, who is this? It's someone called Gaijin Hunter. Ha ha ha. The action style of stances is absolutely amazing. Come on, best comment ever? Yeah. Honestly, I wrote all my comments about Monster Hunter, so this one was really short. I wish they picked a better one for me, but hey, I'm happy to chime in. I do agree. The system of stances, it's simple, but yet it's elegant and complex. There's a lot of depth to be had because of that stance system. You guys really should try out Nioh if you haven't already. Swordplay was amazing. Just people talking about the combat, and the difficulty. Very deep combat mechanic. I agree. Here it goes. How was the difficulty of Nioh? Because it's not an easy game by any means. So over here, so normal is 35% of users. Difficult for 1,000, so maybe 45% or so. Oh, 55. Who said it was difficult? This yellow here is very difficult, and then very easy. 16 people said that. Yeah, right, guys. If you think it's very easy, then you're either lying or you're just really good. For over here, it says, which was the hardest stage for you? Some guy saying they were all easy. A bunch of comments down here about the bosses. Okay, let's move on. So the next one up is Biohazard Resident Evil 7. So again, lots of people in their 20s for this one compared to the other games who answered. A little under 2,000, so lots of people who are younger seem to really like the game. Gameplay was highly evaluated, as same with story art, not so much on the music or other. But obviously this game was very well reviewed. I bought it, but I didn't play too much of it. It wasn't for me, but I could tell that it was a quality game. Really scary and interesting. I hope they make the story make sense later on. It sounds like Biohazard to me. I can't imagine that the story will make sense later on, so you might be disappointed. VR, too scary. I didn't even... Oh, I guess you're right. They did have this in VR. That would be pretty freaky to play. Definitely don't have kids do that, though. Which scenes do you find the most scary? And there's some comments down here. Return to horror for Resident Evil. Properly scary again. Yes. Which one did you save? I guess this is a spoiler. I don't know this either. Did you save Zoe or Mia? Seems like everyone saved Mia. And not that many saved Zoe. I didn't beat the game, so I wouldn't know what that is. The best VR integrations so far. And then finally, we end with Persona 5. So I will show these pages so you guys can read them in its entirety later on. For this one, again, a lot of young people really like it, but also a good amount of 30-year-olds who are responding in the survey. 3,900. That is a lot of people. Out of the pool that they had, that's like over half the people. Everything was incredibly highly evaluated. You got music, art, story, and gameplay. I love how you have something like art. 3,700 people said that they really, really liked it. But only 3,900 people responded. So that's like 90-something%. That's almost everybody said the art was amazing, which I have to agree. It looks great. A bunch of nice themes. Themes grounded in reality. Always been a big fan of Atlas games. Definitely a modern JRPG. Turn-based system is not dead. Everything is so stylish and fun. Which parts of the game did you like the most? Everything. And a bunch of other stuff. Me, as a European woman aged from 20 to 29, gets to experience life as a 15 to 16-year-old Japanese boy. UI very stylish. Yep. Who is your favorite character? You guys probably can read all these names. I don't know all these characters, so I will not even pretend. Futaba. Then down here, they were talking about which scene in Persona 5 left an impression. So some people talking about that stuff down there. Having been to Tokyo once, it feels like I could relive a bit of that time. The atmosphere of being in Japan's capital was captured incredibly well. Which is kind of true. I've seen some screenshots. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the subway. It looks just like the place I take go to work every day and stuff like that. Anyways, again, I'm not going to read all this stuff. One, because I'm not familiar with the game enough to do it justice. And two, you probably don't want to hear me just yapping out for another hour. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. That's actually the end of all the questionnaires and all the answers. Hopefully you guys can blow this up to full screen and enjoy reading the ones that I didn't read. Thanks to everybody who actually applied for these questionnaires. I think it's really great that we participated, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit that like button if you did, subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget, the Spring Blossom Festival for Monster Hunter World starts tomorrow and goes until April 20th. It's going to be awesome, guys. See you online, and until next time, happy hunting.